Okay, hello everyone. So it should be, you should actually hear the sound today as I'm recording. So you should be able to hear me and hear what's going on. Just want to talk about a couple of things today. First is that hopefully you all turned in your group assignments for your preferred team member assignments, right? For the teams, and hopefully that's coming in. Sorry, I'm checking the stream. It's not showing up as live yet, so let's see what we do. Not sure what's going on. Hopefully it's just not that it's buffering it. There it goes. Okay, good. So I wanted to make sure it was there. Okay. But regardless of all that, hopefully you've gotten that in, and you're getting your assignments turned in on the group member assignments. Okay. So the other things to do, of course, is the augmented reality assignment, which you should have completed already, and the course introduction survey. If you've completed that, then you're all on top of what you should have done. Of course, all this should have been done yesterday, actually, but because of the whole screw up of the stream, I didn't get a chance to tell you that, so I'm telling you now. Looking forward for next week, right? So week one, the readings for that were the chapter one in the digital marketing. This is the supplemental readings, right? Chapter one and the auxiliary, the appendix on the history of the internet. So situating digital in history. Week two, the readings were, and of course I expect you to do the readings ahead of time, were digital marketing strategy and research. And then going forward for next week, we're going to be talking about social media strategy, right? So the reading for next week is on Nintendo's decision to create a mobile game. And that kind of ties into the readings you just completed in digital marketing strategy on just trying to think about strategic pictures and when to go mobile and things along those lines, right? So hopefully you'll have completed that. I do plan to post 2 videos still for week 2, which are on talking about the augmented reality readings, now that everyone's had a chance to kind of chime in, and then also talking about the course survey, so hopefully you've done all that content. So that's it in terms of announcements of what's coming up. I will be posting the actual group assignments in the next couple of days, and so you should see an announcement from me with your team member assignments. If you have a team of 5 people on it and all the other teams kind of work out, then you shouldn't expect anything different or weird than what you did. But this just gives me a chance to take like teams of 2 and teams of 3 and put them together and things like that, okay? So you should see those assignments posted shortly. The only other thing I wanted to talk about today was to talk about what the group project is all about a little bit. So I thought I'd use the time here to kind of walk you through the team contract and the team project. Those are the next 2 things that are due, and they are due in a little over a couple weeks. So let me get the exact due date. So the team project introduction and team contract are due on February 8th, okay? So let me start by talking about the team contract, just because that might be something you haven't done before. But the team contract essentially is to help you guys. So when you have these group projects, I think it's helpful to have a team contract, which basically just specifies for each of the members of the team what the kind of expectations are for the team, right? And how it's going to set up and how it's going to run, right? So let me pull this up. Let me shut off my own camera. Okay, let me make it a little bit bigger for you as well, right? Okay, let me get this. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so the beginning of it, and I just expect you to kind of, this is a template, right? It's not meant to be, you don't have to fill it out verbatim, right? But it kind of gives you a rough idea of what I expect you to be discussing amongst your team. So the first page is just basically describing what the kind of project is about. And just a reminder, this is a contract, a team contract about completing the group project. It's not a team contract about the digital marketing plan, right? So I don't expect you to say that the major stakeholders are the company you're working for, necessarily, though they might be, right? Actually, sorry, a better way to describe it, that's actually a bad example, right? A better way to describe this is that, the results expected shouldn't have to do with like click-through rates on the company's website, right? It should have to do with, getting the project done, getting the presentation done, getting all the deliverables done, right? A major stakeholder of the team may very well be the company you're working for, and if so, you should mention that, right? Okay. After that, there's a page that basically gives you a chance as a team to go through and figure out what the strengths and weaknesses of each member of the team are, and then explain those. I think that's very useful to do. This kind of just sets up part 3, which is an actual team responsibility matrix, and this is one of the 2 most important parts of the team contract. This allows you to specify all the different items that you think the team will take care of, and how they're going, and how you're going to work on it, and who's going to be responsible, right? And then the other important part is the team norms, right? Like, when will you meet? Who's going to work on it? Is there going to be a central leader? Is it going to be a diverse leadership, right? And you need to, and this is just kind of helping everyone establish that. And then the final part is just a signature page. Because it's an online course, you can do a virtual signature. There's no problems there. But I just want you all to sign it so you have a mutual understanding of what's going on. Okay? So let me turn back on my camera. So now that we've talked through the team contract, let me talk to you a little bit about what the team project should actually look like. So let me get rid of this one and open up a new window camera so that you can see what I'm talking about. So this is going to be the team project guidelines. And by the way, someone did notice there were a couple of dates I had messed up a little bit. I just had listed the old dates from the last time the course had been taught on accident, but it has been updated now completely, right? So there's some general guidelines here just with regard to make sure you cite sources if you have any, right? Things like that. But then it gets into the meat of the actual project, and the first 5 sections are just kind of like the first 4 sections are just kind of the organizational aspects, and then the 5th section is the thing I'm actually going to be grading on February 8th when you turn in. And really, this is just like, I just want you to explain why digital marketing would be appropriate for this firm, right? And kind of introduce the firm. And this kind of just forces you to kind of think a little bit about the firm and what they're doing, right? Then the next section that's going to be due on March 1st is laying out the situation analysis for the firm and the marketing objectives and goals, right? And then the section after that, that's not due for about a month after that, is talking about all the tactics you might use. And this is a pretty big section, right? But it's also talking about who's going to implement the project and how you're going to see if your goals are being met, right? And then finally, of course, you will turn all this in at the end of the semester on April 19th, along with some content that you're creating, right? Some creatives that you've created to illustrate what your project is about. And you also do a peer evaluation of each other, and you'll do a final presentation. And that final presentation, I think the best way to do it is for you to essentially get together as a team and figure out a way to record a video of you presenting it. And you don't have to get together in person. It could be that each person does their own little bit, and then you put the video together. However you want to do it, I'm happy to provide some tools to help out with that experience. If you want to do it live with me, we can also try and make that happen as well if you want to schedule it. But that's the general idea. I'm fairly indifferent to the method as long as it works out well with you, as long as we can kind of schedule it together, right? And this is just describing all the deadlines as well. Okay. So a couple of notes. People, have asked me what makes a good project over time, right? So let me turn back on this window. So have asked me what makes a good project over time. And the number one thing I think that really helps the project stand out as being good projects is when they have then when the team has a close connection with the organization that they're working for. So if you have someone who can really present you with insights into what the organization wants to achieve, what its goals and objectives are. Really, that can help you really design a really good project. And that could mean that like someone on your team is working with the organization, or that they are the organization. Like us, I've had startups who MBAs who are actually working on startups be the focus of the project, and that works out really well, right? You can work with a bigger company. You know, there's nothing that says you can't work with a big company, even though they might already have digital marketing. I've seen a couple of good projects done where you know, they knew that a big company was trying to focus on a particular aspect, and so they developed kind of a micro digital marketing plan for that aspect. So, for example, McCormick's, the spice company in Maryland, I had a project a couple of years ago where someone was developing a kind of campaign that was targeted on college age students and getting them to use McCormick spices. And so that was kind of, you know, it was different from the overall campaign. They wrote up the campaign just around that. Right? The other question I've had a couple of times has to do with, you know, the document, the team project document has a lot of questions on it. Do I have to answer every single question? And as a team, do we have to answer every question? And the answer is no. Think of the team project guideline as a writing prompt, right? It's really there just to get your thoughts motivated. I want you to create the best digital marketing plan you can. You don't have to answer every single question that's listed on there. In fact, some of them might not even be appropriate for your particular firm, right? Finally, you know, with regards to that writing, when I say the best digital marketing plan you could possibly create, what would that look like? Well, one thing it definitely looks like is that it has a theme that goes throughout it, right? And that should be established in the introduction and work all the way through the entire project. And if that theme is around, you know, making your company feel more cool and creative, then you should talk about that early and talk about that often. If it's about having the best quality of product, it should be talked about early and talked about often, right? Really make sure that there's a theme to your digital marketing campaign. I think that's crucial, right? Okay. So that's the group project. If you have any questions about it, feel free to email me or, you know, contact me however you want. So that's all I really want to talk about today. I didn't see any other questions come in off of the YouTube channel or anything else. But if there were, let me know. I do want to, you know, reiterate again. Okay, so you should have turned in your team member assignment form request yesterday. You should have also completed the augmented reality reading by now and commented on it in the discussion forum. You should have completed the course introduction as well and done all that. And then for next week, really what you need to do is you need to do the going to mobile reading and make some comments about it in the discussion forum. And if you want, read up on the sections on social media strategy and channels for next week. Okay. So that's it for today. Hopefully I've answered some more questions, and if you have any additional ones, just feel free to shoot me an email.